Okay, hello everybody. I actually looked at my phone and I don't have any emails. I don't have any comments because I haven't uploaded anything besides Boshy in a couple days, and I guess people are sick of it. But I'll just let you know, you guys probably won't see this for a little bit because I just want to beat Boshy. I just want to beat it, and then I'll be able to like time out when I'm uploading stuff, so that way I can record like Banjo-Kazooie or System Shock, and I can give you guys a little bit of whatever. So by the time you see this, I've probably beaten it. No guarantees, but probably. Either that or I've just gotten... Because I only have until the 14th, and I have like 9 hours of footage to get up, and I don't want to overload you guys. I want to do at least like an hour a day. Maybe more, maybe less. But they're not 9 hours a day. Gosh, 1 hour a day. You know, 1 hour a day for 9 days, so that should do it pretty well. You know, if I end up having 14 hours, then there you go. Yeah, it'll be fine. But anyway, because I didn't have anything on my phone, I'm going to open up my book again, and I'm going to see another fun game to talk about. So let's go to one of the more recent-y games. I'm going to go towards the end of the book here. Right there will do. What is this? Resident Evil 5. That's a game I can talk about. Resident Evil 5, a game that a lot of people say is not very good. I, on the other hand, say that it is quite good. Resident Evil is a very interesting series that I do intend on playing as soon as I get a decent enough PlayStation 1 emulator, which I've heard people say that they can get me hooked up. I just need to talk to them more. But Resident Evil is a game series that started life out... Ooh, yay! There we go, now I can start talking about it. You know, hold on. I know, hold on. I gotta change back to Ryu. I've played the kid enough. Resident Evil is a series that started off as a more run away from whatever's chasing you. You can fight, but you can't fight very long. And that formula worked fine and dandy for 3 full games, which pretty much followed the same narrative of survivors trapped in a pretty much the same, well, not the same area, but the same zone, pretty much happening all within the same week. It's 3 different... No, wait. How many people can you play as? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 different people. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy, and Claire Redfield. Oh wait, no, you play as Jill again, don't you? In the 3rd game? You play as Jill, right? Yeah. So technically you only play as 4 people throughout these 3 games. Yeah, it's Jill in the 3rd game. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm remembering badly. Because I've never played them, I've only seen them. If you guys have not seen Over the Gun, his playthrough of Resident Evil 3, oh my god, it is one of the most stirring testaments of endurance and thick-headedness, and, well, not thick-headedness, hard-headedness. He was so hard-headed about that. You think I'm doing long episodes of one boss? My god, go watch his Nemesis fights. Inspiring works. Really, I can't praise that guy enough. He works so gosh darn hard. Oh, come on. I'm trying to do this all fancy now. Oh, what? I like how I stood there for half a second. Oh, could you please just end my life? What is happening? Like, when I get the spike up there, my jump cancels. That is... I love how I stand on the edge there for just half a second. Anyway, so the formula was pretty much the same. The formula was pretty much the same between the first 3 games. 3rd-person camera, fixed camera, depending on where you were in the game. Which made for very atmospheric, very creative boss fights, very interesting designs. Good, I'll say good voice acting, especially in the first one. I can't remember if they got progressively better. I don't remember any particularly amazing lines from the second one. But the first one is chock full of them. And then Resident Evil 4 came along and pretty much redefined what people wanted from a Resident Evil. Now, don't get me wrong, People still really love the classics. They still think Resident Evil 1 through 3 are masterpieces of their genre. However, Resident Evil 4 blew everyone away because of how fun it was. Oh, what is that? It resets when I... Are you really telling me that? That the spike will reset when I wall jump, but it won't, like, unset itself? Oh my god, that's so funny how Ryu just kind of... Look, that's terrible. Wait a minute, am I doing this completely wrong? Oh yes, I am, I'm sorry. I'm going the completely wrong way. I'm sorry about that, folks, wow. No wonder it won't let me go that way. There's nothing to accomplish that way. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Wait a minute. Wow, I was going there for like 2 whole minutes, just like, where am I going? Okay, I'm sorry, I have to hit that switch first, because otherwise if I go over there, there'll be nothing to accomplish. Wow, I'm a smart one. Anyway, Resident Evil 4, completely changed up. Resident Evil 4, I'm not even gonna say, because it doesn't need saying, is a beautiful masterpiece of a game. Sticks fairly close to the original in, at least in the beginning levels anyway. It stays fairly close to the feel of it, where you're being oppressed by just this heavy environment laden with stuff. Very arbitrary puzzles, but the puzzles in Resident Evil 4 are much different from Resident Evil, the first 3 Resident Evils. The first 3 Resident Evils are much more dependent on collecting a puzzle that is in a very hard spot to use in a very obscure-ish area, or they feel more like puzzles. Resident Evil 4, you just kind of glide through the game. You really do. It's just such an easy game. Puzzle-wise. Oh, could you please just go get hit by a train? But anyway, Resident Evil 4 made it much more fun to most people because, don't get me, there's Resident Evil purists who will tell you that the game series was a masterpiece before it changed to Resident Evil 4. That Resident Evil 4 ruined Resident Evil because of its change from atmosphere to action. Resident Evil 4 brought the action. Resident Evil 4 was just, it was tone, it was basically like, it was a movie that was so fun to interact with. The characters were silly. I'm looking at you, Ashley. But there was also heartwarming moments. I'm looking at you, Lewis. They brought in new characters. I'm looking at you, Sadler, and pretty much everybody else of scary importance. But that was my first experience with a Resident Evil game, and I loved it. I wouldn't change it at all, and I'm glad that it was made the way it was made. Now, Resident Evil 5... How do we describe this? Resident Evil 5 didn't really know what it should do. Because it wanted to be Resident Evil 4 so bad, because Resident Evil 4 got so much praise and so much acclaim, and so many like Game of the Year editions, and they even got this really kick-butt controller for it, for the GameCube version, that just is so beautiful. But then Resident Evil 5 ran into the problem of setting itself in Africa, and I mean, what did people... Oh my gosh, I can't believe how quickly I got through that. What do people expect when they send people to Africa? We're going to be shooting black people. Africa is entirely... Well, not entirely, but it's mostly composes of black people. What did they expect? White Chris Redfield shooting black people. It's like if you brought a guy from Africa into the United States to shoot people, you wouldn't see anybody crying about a black guy shooting white people. My gosh. Hello, brother. So anyway, Resident Evil 5 faced some controversy. Wow. Aw, this is gonna be weird. I think he says hello there. I think so, anyway. I forgot he does that. But, Resident Evil 5 destroyed the horror tone. I don't think there was ever a moment where I really felt that this is atmospheric and scary. I mean, yeah, they had a lot of they had some gross out moments. that Resident Evil 4 had, but it didn't have the spooky charm. Now there's a way that you can do this. There's a way that you can do that way, and I've seen it done. When he does that, like, tunnel of shurikens, there's a way where you can not have to do the rest of this encounter, and I want to try it. But Resident Evil 5 definitely pumped up the action. It filled in some of the plot holes. Well, it didn't really. Because up to that point, there really weren't any plot holes. Not really, anyway. I mean, yeah, there was the whole where's... It didn't even fill in all the plot holes. You're still wondering, where the heck is Sherry? It's just kind of resolved this Jill Valentine problem. But anyway. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Hey! So what does he do here? Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. That doesn't seem quite awful. And then he does something terrible. Oh yeah, he does like the Sonic thing. Okay. I'm gonna do this the way that it was intended. Because I can't do it the way that it wasn't. And I like talking about Resident Evil. So anyway, this part is very difficult mirrored. Or maybe it's just difficult with this character, I don't know. It's like right here. It's somewhere around there, I can't remember where it is. Anyway, I have not played Resident Evil 6 yet, I own it, haven't played it yet. A very bad habit I have. But it seems as if it's trying to have its Chris Redfield hunk cake and eat it too. Cause it seems like it's like a two-story campaign almost, kind of like how the originals used to be. I think it stars, maybe it's even 3, I can't remember. It stars Chris Redfield and Leon Kennedy. And Leon seems a lot more, it has action, but it definitely seems more true to the original Resident Evil. Whereas Chris just seems like a romp through zombie land. I don't mean the movie, I've actually never seen that movie, but heard it's good. That's something. Oh, now if I remember, this gets crazy. Oh, it comes from the bottom, gosh. If it only came from the top, that'd be probably just as worse. Just as bad. Not just as worse. Anyway, for Resident Evil 5, I'm not saying that Resident Evil 5 was a bad game. I'm saying that it was a bad Resident Evil game because it wasn't... There is... Okay, let me put it this way. There is a moment in Resident Evil 5 where Chris is running away from something. There is a boulder in his way, and he, instead of trying to push it with all of his might, he punches the boulder to make it move. How much longer does that go? Pretty long. Not that long, it's like maybe 7 seconds longer. He punches the boulder to make it move. You have to mash a button so that he can punch it hard enough so that it will move. But the example's already been set by somebody else. Back in the day, I used to watch a lot of 4-player podcasts, and they made a good example of... They were talking about when a franchise like Resident Evil has jumped the shark, and if you don't know what jump the shark means, jumping the shark is an example set by Happy Days, which was I think it was like an early 60s, 70s TV show about the 50s. And I think it was near the end of one of the series. One of the characters, Fonzie, jumps a shark with his motorcycle, and that was the moment where the series went like above and beyond what it's normally set to be. And they've stated that, 4-player podcast anyway, they stated that moment where Chris punches a boulder is the jumping the shark moment. But to be honest, Resident Evil has been just kooky crazy ever since the beginning. Just stuff that you can't explain. Like, there's a giant snake in the very first game in a house that is just completely unexplained. I think it's like some biological experiment, but still, there's a giant snake in the house. By the way, I have to beat this with Ryu. So Resident Evil has never been quite the super tame game, horror game. But even still, having Chris punch the boulder was so silly. I mean, maybe that's something I would have done in pure blind panic. That's my argument. That maybe it's that realistic to the point of you're so afraid of what's... And don't get me wrong, what he was running away from was a holy crap, run away, oh my god, it's right behind me, just anything needs to get out of my way moment. I'll admit, it was the final boss, I'm just gonna say. I was trying not to say exactly where it was, but it was the final boss. I won't tell you what the final boss is. It was just... The final boss is probably one of the most intimidating and actually legitimately intense moments that game has to offer. At least in my memory. But, it's definitely a play game. Definitely play it. It's just... It's fun. It's just not what a lot of people wanted from Resident Evil. What you wanted from Resident Evil came in the form of Resident Evil 4, and you didn't need to change that. You didn't need to expand upon that. And setting it in Africa could have been just as good as Resident Evil 4, but it was too focused on, like, co-op and your partner, and... I mean, Resident Evil 4 had that too, but your partner didn't interact with you at all. All she really did was, like, stand on puzzles or hide in a box, and that was about it. She was just a driving motivation for the plot, and Resident Evil 5 tried to have that character be her own individual person, and it didn't work.